Hello Booktube, I'm Nicole and you've reached Dusty Book Sniffers and welcome to my channel. Today we are talking about my bingo challenge and the TBR that I have for the remainder of the year. So let's get into it. Good morning and good evening everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video to see what it's all about. First and foremost, if you are new here and you've yet to subscribe, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also give this video a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that. So as I said in the intro, we are here for my bingo TBR. Now you might be wondering, what the heck is a bingo TBR? So at the end of last year, over in my craft and reading group on Facebook, I started to do a bingo challenge, and that was to encourage people to either stitch a little bit more or read a little bit more, because I had one for stitching and I had one for reading. So I still do that over in my group, but I've now created a Discord where it's dedicated just to the reading. So a lot of those people have come over to my Discord, and every quarter I put up a new bingo challenge. So the bingo lasts for 12 weeks. You get a printout that you can, like a sheet that you can print out, and I just size, it's just a photo and I just size it to what I need it to be, and then I stick it in my reading journal and I tick them off or blot them off as I go. And then every week I actually spin the die or roll the dice, and I've got a 12-sided dice, and I roll the dice, and basically whatever it lands on, that is the prompt for the week. So as I said, we've got 12 prompts. It lasts from this one goes for 12 weeks. This will actually get us right to the end of the year and possibly into the first week of 2023, and that was because I was sick for a couple of weeks and I didn't do any rolls, so that's put us behind a couple of weeks. Originally it was supposed to finish up the week of Christmas, so we had 2 weeks to read that last book. So this is going to take us into 2023. If you haven't already joined our Discord, the link is down below. Come over, join the Discord, scroll down the side, find where the bingo is. You will find your printout there. I'm also going to put it into the free printouts tab as well, so you can find it nice and easy. You don't have to scroll. And I've also pinned it underneath the bingo challenge. All right, so I'm going to go through the books that I'm going to be reading and the prompts that I am going to have. I am going to actually do it a little bit different. So for those that don't have Discord or don't want to have another app or don't want to get involved in the community over there, that's fine, because what I'm going to do this time is every Sunday, it used to be on a Friday, so every Sunday I am going to roll the dice and put it up as the short. Okay, and we're going to start the week off with a new book. So that gives us, you know, all week to delve into the book, and then possibly the weekend to finish it. So the object of the game is you get your prompt for that week, you select your book, and you basically read it within that week before the next roll of the dice. So that is where the challenge is. Okay, so we have 12 different prompts. Sometimes they're page orientated, so they'll be genre orientated. They might be just random prompts that I've just thought of off the top of my head. So as I said, every Sunday on the channel there will be a short that will go up. It will have the dice roll of what we're going to do. It'll have the graphic of which one it was, and it'll have a green dot on it, so you know that once you've picked your book, you can do that. Now, I give you the prompts in advance so you can organize your TBR. You can order some books that you may have wanted to order, so you can order them and get them in time. I've done that myself this time. You can get on Kindle Unlimited and search through and find the books there. If you've got Kindle Unlimited, you can get onto whatever platform that you get onto and check out what books. You can go to your Goodreads list and have a look at the books that you want to read, and you can put them on to your bingo. And it's a way of getting books. So this shelf here is all my to be read ones, and I've got another shelf in there with secondhand to be reads. And so basically it's a really good way of selecting books that you otherwise would probably gloss over. All right, so now that I've explained what that is, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to all notifications, so that's the first little bell. Okay, and then that way you're not going to miss out on that roll every Sunday. Now, I'm hoping to have it going up first thing in the morning my time, so that gives you all of Sunday. okay, and then all week to read it. And then if you need a little bit of extra time the following Sunday, you've got that before it rolls up. So I haven't selected an actual time yet, so we might do that today. How about we make it for 9 a.m. my time, which I am in Queensland, Australia. And so that will be Australian Eastern Standard Time. So whatever time that works out to be for you, that's when you need to be onto the channel and see the short there, okay? Now, I realize that some of you might be asleep at that time, or it may be very late where you are. That's okay. It'll be there when you get up. But don't forget to check in, and it will be on my short shelf. So when you come to my channel, you'll see my short shelf there, and you will find it there, and it'll be there every Sunday at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, okay? I'm in Queensland, so my time doesn't change in my country. Everybody else at this time of the year, all their time has changed except for mine, and I think WA doesn't change either, but that's neither here nor there. All right, so as I said, you get a free prompt sheet, so you can print that off, and you've got 12 prompts, and it's over 12 weeks. Pretty self-explanatory, really. Okay, so I'm going to go in numerical order of the prompts, okay, but I don't know what order I'm going to be reading these books in because I haven't rolled yet. You'll have to tune in on Sunday. All right, so the first book prompt is a book about your interest. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I'm a crafty girl. And I have another channel on here on YouTube that is called Divinely Design Studio, and it's all about craft. Now, one of the things that I have wanted to learn, so I have tweaked my prompt a little bit. It is about my interest because it's to do with stitching, but it's something that I want to learn within that genre, craft genre, and it is called Paint with Threads. Okay, it is absolutely gorgeous, this book. I got this from a craft fair that I went to this year back in May, and I haven't really sat down and read it yet, and it's by Emily Ferris. Okay, and it is all about stitching, and I'm just going to show you, like, the inside of the cover is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely love it. And when I seen this, I just had to have it. So I'm not going to flick through the book or anything. I'll do that when I go through my wrap-ups and my review of the book, because I will actually do reviews on all of these books. But these are some of the things that are in the book. They're absolutely gorgeous. And believe it or not, that is all done with thread. So this has got a lot of how-to, step-by-step guides when you're starting to stitch it. Now, I've been cross-stitching for a few years now. I've done embroidery, I whiz on the sewing machine, I do quilting. That is basically my day job along with YouTube. And so it goes through the step-by-steps of everything you need to know to do this craft. So I'm pretty happy that I'm going to be, I've actually did it because I buy a lot of these books and they sit on my shelf and I don't always read them. So I'm pretty happy that I've actually been able to incorporate this in to my bingo TBR. So you'll have to keep an eye out for that, and we'll go into that more detail. All right, so the next prompt is a book that was published in 2022. All right, I'm just going to move my cuppa and have a sip of that. Oh, you can hear those birds going off out there again. They're actually quiet compared to about half an hour ago. Anyway, a book that was published in 2022, and I have chose, and I've had this on my shelf for a couple of months now, I have chose Daughter of the Moon Goddess, and that is by Su Lin Tan, and I believe this is heavily inspired, there goes some books, inspired by, is it, I think it's Chinese mythology. Yes, Chinese mythology. Sorry, I just had to look there. So, yeah, so I don't know anything other than that. I don't want to read the blurb either because I'll end up, you know, like I did look at it, and I think I seen someone talk about this, and I thought, oh, I like that, and I love the cover. Now, anybody that knows, I read pretty much across all genres. I'm very, very eclectic, and I do pick my books by the covers a lot of the time. So I knew that I had like a lot of new books that had come out this year. So I thought I would read that. I've been really wanting to read that. And I mean, just look at that cover. Isn't it beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. All right. So that is another one that I'm going to read. That is prompt 2. Okay. Prompt 3. I don't actually have the physical copy here. It is actually on its way. And I am reading Mexican Gothic. I have been wanting to read it for ages. And a couple of times I went to get it and it wasn't available. It was driving me absolutely balmy. So basically, I thought, well, you know what, I'm just going to order it off of Amazon, because the bookshops that I had gone to hadn't had it. It was out of stock. They didn't know when they were getting it, all of that sort of stuff. So basically what I did was I got onto Amazon the other day and I ordered that, and it is supposed to be here tomorrow or Friday, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to check that. But I'm looking forward to that. I absolutely know nothing about it except that it is set in 1950s Mexico. So I'm happy with that. It's got the word Gothic in it. It was a 2020 Goodreads winner, and that's why I'm reading it, because that is what the prompt is. All right, the next one, which is the book that took off the off the little pile that I've got here. Prompt 4 is a popular author that you have not read yet. Now, I really, honestly, I don't know what a popular author is. So I'm going to go with a popular author that I actually have read, but I haven't read this book by them. So I have tweaked it a little bit. So you can be absolutely explicit in what you're going to do. So you can just take it for what it is. So you know that there's a popular author out there and you've read nothing by them. And then that way you can read it. Or you can pick a popular author and read something by them that you have read before. And that's what I've chose to do. So I'm going with V.E. Schwab. I actually really enjoy reading her books. I've got The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I always say Allie LaRue for some reason. And I picked this one up, I think this was released this year, wasn't it? Yeah, so this is a new release as well, which is Gallant, and I've been wanting to read this for a while. Again, I picked it by the cover. I absolutely adore this cover, and so I'm going to give that a read, and that is prompt 4. And as I said, I don't know when I'm going to be reading these books, but I know it will be between now and the end of the year. Okay, the next one. I don't actually have a physical copy for this. This is actually a Kindle book. Sorry, just had a complete mind blank then. I couldn't remember whether it was Kindle Unlimited or whether I had to purchase it. I ended up purchasing it. I think it was like $5 or something like that. It wasn't very much at all. And I got the audio book with it. So the prompt is a book based on a fairy tale. Now, I struggled with this because I don't really read a lot of those. I think the only ones on my shelf based on fairy tales, I mean, I've got some classics that are fairy tales. I actually have the Grimm Brothers folio edition of fairy tales, and I've got the Blue Fairy Book of Fairy Tales. I've got those. So yeah, so I don't really read a lot of fairy tale retellings. The only one that I've got on the shelf at the moment, as far as I'm aware, that I can see offhand, I know I don't have any inside, is the Cursebreaker series. And that was loosely based on Beauty and the Beast. Well, the first one was. It sort of took a deviation after that. But yes, so I need a book based on a fairy tale retelling. So I ended up picking Broken Beast of Beauty. So I don't know if it's based on a beauty... So I don't know if it's actually based on a fairy tale or not, but it had Beast of Beauty in it. So I'm just going to go with that. It looks like a dark romance. I didn't read the blurb. I just went totally on the cover. The cover was pretty cool. I like the cover of it, as you can see. And I went on the name. And that was after about 3 hours of searching Kindle Unlimited for... a book. And the problem with Kindle Unlimited, you put in a fairy tale retelling and it just brought up fairy tales. There wasn't any retellings as such that kept coming up. I don't know, maybe my search was just broken that day, but anyway, I ended up going with this one. It looks like a good read, but I'm judging it by the cover, I'm judging it by the title, I'm assuming that it's that. And in the last couple of months I've just been doing random picks off a Kindle and even off Amazon, and just doing these random picks. So I'm actually going to be doing some videos just of I've picked them because of price or because of the cover or because it was recommended or something like that in a search and whatnot. So you'll have to keep an eye out for those videos. This is going to be hilarious, I'm sure, because there's going to be some tragic books picked. But I'm hoping that this isn't one of them. But that's what I've done and that's what I've got. All right, so book 6 is... read a book from an author you always read. So I read a fair bit off Kindle Unlimited, and most of the time I don't review them. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll start reading them and I don't finish them. Sometimes it's more often than that. I have read a lot of Fiona Falpy lately. So I decided to read a book from her. So I think I've read 3 or 4 of hers now, and I have talked about them on the channel. And she's a new author to me too, so I only sort of come across her this year in May when I did my Kindle Unlimited challenge. So basically I had to read all the books that I had on my Kindle Unlimited plus a few extra that I had on there. So you can find that video carded up top and linked down below. Go and check it out. Like, it was a crazy ride. I read some really good books and came across some really good authors, and Fiona Falpy was one of those. And so I am going to be reading, and you can see the cover here, Sea of Memories. Now, that was sitting in my Kindle Unlimited, and I thought I've read a fair few of her books, and I was also thinking that I was going to read, because I picked 2 for this one, and the other one, which it isn't out yet, not in my local area, which it Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. So that is another author that I may pick from. And because these books are pretty quick and they generally come with audio, I'll probably end up just listening to them on audio through Kindle Unlimited. So I'll just burn through them in a day because I speed my books up. All right, so the next one is book 7. Read a book written before you were born. So I was born in 1970, so I have a lot of books to choose from, obviously. So basically I decided to go with Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens, and this is sort of twofold because I'm also doing the Dickens read-along, readathon. Is it readathon or read-along with Katie from Books and Things, and so I will link her channel up down below, and she is over the course of the next 2 years reading all of the Charles Dickens books in chronological order, and I believe she's missing the Christmas story. She's going to skip those. So in December she's starting Oliver Twist. Now I've read the first page in this, and I started this back in August. I've read the first page and I put it down because I started it when I was when I got sick, and then I just haven't picked it up. And I put it on my September TBR, then I moved it to my October TBR. Then the Charles Dickens readathon started, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to move it to December and I'm going to start it then. And now I've put it onto my bingo. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it actually turns up in December. It might not. If it doesn't, I've got other classics to choose from, but I've chosen for that prompt Oliver Twist. All right, so the next one that was number 7. Okay, so this one was a book set in the future. Now, we all know that I struggle with any sort of futuristic dystopian. That is my husband's bag, so I was going to ask him for a recommendation. Then I knew that was going to turn into a 4-hour conversation, and I didn't have 4 hours. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to look on my shelf, and I'm going to tweak this prompt a little bit as well. So I have picked, and I have actually read the went and had a look at this on Goodreads. It didn't really have much of a blurb, but it is called Angels of Detroit, a novel by Christopher Herbert. Sorry, tongue-tied there. So that is the book. This actually came in one of my Book Grocer books. So this is one that I can't remember. I think it just came in a general fiction box from memory, because I got 3 boxes last year. And this is I don't know if it's set into the future, but it sort of seems like it is from the blurb. Right, so as I said, I don't know if it's set into the future, but when I read the blurb, which is just on the inside cover, basically there is a part in here. It says a razor sharp prose in razor. Sorry, I'll start that again. I'm really terrible at reading out loud, so I do apologize in advance for my very monotone reading. I get very nervous and I start to stutter, and it is a trait that pops up every now and again from when I was a kid. So I'm going to try and get through it. Okay, in razor-sharp prose, Angels of Detroit draws us into the lives of multiple characters struggling to define their futures in this desolated Desolated landscape. So to me, this sounds, just from that little section, and then it just goes on about human trafficking, and it's got some interesting stuff in it. It's driven by struggle, suspense, shot through with startling empathy. So I thought, that sounds like a really good book. It sort of looks dystopian on the front. And I thought, you know what, I could really tweak this prompt. So I thought, well, they're struggling with their futures. So obviously it may be set in this present time, but they're looking to the future. So that's what I'm going to run with. It's a stretch. I know it's a stretch. And you're probably going, come on, you could have done better than that. I just don't want to read a sci-fi. Because I know that I'm terrible. I do occasionally read sci-fi, and I have read 2 books this year that are by Andy Weir, which are definitely sci-fi, set in the future. I could read Project Hail Mary again, but that's cheating. I want to read a book that I haven't read. This is on my bookshelf, so I'm going to stretch that prompt as much as I can, and I'm going to read this book. And you have to tune in to find out what that book is about. I'm curious. It sounds really good, and it's set in Detroit, so yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. All right, so the next one is read a classic, and I am going to read Wuthering Heights. I'm also doing this as a group read as well next month, so I'm hoping that it pops up. If it doesn't, I'll start reading it, and it will definitely bleed over because I'm taking my time with the classics, and I've got to take a heap of notes on this one because I am doing it as a group read, and I have decided that I do listen to the books, but I am not listening to them super fast, and I'm going through chapter by chapter, and I'm trying to educate myself and get better at taking notes and discussing books a little bit better, because I'm terrible for doing group reads, powering through the book and not really discussing it with the group. So I am turning a new leaf over and trying something different. It's not a very long book. This one's only got I think it's only got a couple of 100 pages. Well, there's a lot of stuff in the back, but in notes there's this only got 237 pages, so it's not going to take me long to go through it, but I am going to go through slowly, read the chapter, think about it, you know. I've taken some tips from some people, and that's what I'm going to do. So Wuthering Heights is there. So I'm guessing that that's going to take me about 3 months to read anyway, by doing it that slow. All right, so the next one is a historical fiction. Now, I struggled with this because I have a fair chunk of change of historical fiction on my shelves. Not just here, but also inside, and the shelf behind the door. I got bookshelves everywhere. I got books in my room. Yeah, I really, really have a lot of books. And for this one, I could not decide what I wanted to read out of these 2 books. Now, I do believe that The Maid is a historical fiction, and it doesn't say anything on the back and when it was set, but I believe it is a historical fiction. Not 100% sure on that one, but anyway, even if it's not, I'll be reading it when that rolls around. But I do know that this is definitely a historical fiction, and I'm pretty sure when I looked this up on Goodreads, it was under historical fiction. That's why I picked it up, and I thought, oh, I've wanted to read that for a while, so I'm guessing that that's what it is. But I do know that this is definitely an historical fiction. It is based in 1929, and it's a young girl's journey to Rome, where she's gone to see her brother and his wife. And she's on the brink of a great adventure with cocktail parties, dancing, and all that sort of stuff. And a child of Mussolini's Italy is blown away by the winds of fascism and Catholic. I can't say that word. Catholicism. It didn't want to come out then. I can say it, just didn't want to come out. And she becomes. I'm not going to say anymore because it's probably going to give it away. And that's why I don't like to read blurbs, because blurbs these days seem to give the story away. So I know that definitely is, but when it comes time to that, I'm probably going to read both of these because I have this on audio, and I also have this on audio as well on Scribed. So I will probably listen and read along with those, because that is my new favorite way of reading. I love it because I can just immerse myself, and I don't know, just reading the words and hearing the words at the same time just seems to just blow my imagination and my visualization up, and I just really, really love it. All right, the next one that is prompt 11. We are almost there, folks. I know it's a long video, Read your favourite children's book. Now, it fell on the floor. So I absolutely love Chronicles of Narnia, which I have my new version. I've been wanting to get this version for a while. This is the 50th anniversary version. I think this was published in 2000. So that is a hardcover, and it's beautifully illustrated. Now I am reading this in the month of November. So I don't know whether it is going to fall. So I actually have chosen for that one because I don't know when it's going to fall, and I will finish this in no time at all in November. So I'm not going to hold out to read it because I'm doing it as a group read over. Well, I'm the only person that's reading it at the moment, but I believe some other people are going to join in as well. They haven't committed yet. They might soon. I don't know. But anyway, I've decided I'm going to read book 2. So earlier this year, I read book 1 of Anne of Green Gables. I've read this several times. I've read this to my girl, Anne of Green Gables I've read to my girls. Savannah absolutely loves this series. This is her book that I've just taken off her shelf. I will read it on Kindle because this is brand new. And the writing goes right up into, you can see there's not much of a margin in there. And I don't want to break the spine on her because she will kill me. You will never see me again. Or when next time I may be bruised because she's thrown books at me. So I'm going to read Anne of Avonlea, which is part 2. So this is basically following on from the first book. She's now 16. She is now teaching. She's still got a fiery temper, but she is much loved in the area. And she's known for getting into scrapes and all that sort of stuff, and her fiery temper and her red hair and all that sort of stuff. And it's just continuing on with that. It's a great story. It's a great read. I usually read these in one sitting. So I've got this on Kindle Unlimited, and it comes with audio as well. You can get most of these free of charge. So I will probably listen to that while I'm working, but yeah, it is just one that I like to revisit from time to time. I think I've only read I don't think I've read the whole series. I think I've only read the first 5 books. I think there's 7 in the series, 7 or 8. I don't know. Can't remember. But anyway, I'm endeavouring to read them all. I am going to finish the series off. All right, so the last book that I'm going to read, now just balance their book. Actually, that's going to fall. Okay, so the last prompt on the board is a book by an Australian author. Now, I have many to choose from on my shelf, but I decided that I was going to go with an audio book that I have been wanting to read. I have listened to, I think, about an hour of it in the truck with Brendan. We started listening to it, but then we got home and I haven't picked it back up again. So I'm going to restart it because I can't really remember what it was about. And it is by, it's called Empire of the Vampire, and is it J. Christopherson or something? Anyway, he's an Australian author. He's got a few books out, and I have seen a couple of people talk about this book, but I can't remember what they said about the story or anything. So I figured it's been sitting for a while. I actually got it, it was on special, or it was the monthly editor's pick a couple of years back. Maybe 18 months ago. I can't remember. I've had it on my audio library for a while. So I'm going to read that. All right. So to recap, they are the prompts that I've just gone through. To get your prompt, if you're going to join us, you can come over to our Discord and join us there and join in the discussion. We share what book we're going to be reading. We do a little mini review. There's not everybody's on Booktube over there. We do like a little what it was like. Did we enjoy it? We don't give any spoilers or anything like that. A lot of the time we don't come back and say what it was about, but we do show what we've chosen for that week. And sometimes we'll put it, yeah, we finished it or we didn't. Okay, so the Discord information is all down below. Alternatively, if you don't want to come and join the Discord and join in the discussion with everything else that's going on over there, every Sunday at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, I will put up a short and it will have the weekly roll. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button. and the little bell icon beside it to all notifications, and then that way you're not going to miss out on that. You can get that coming out right at 9 o'clock because I will schedule it. And make sure that you leave me a comment and let me know what you're going to be reading if you aren't in the Discord, because I would really love to know. I get a lot of book recommendations from this challenge over in my Facebook group and also on Discord, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. But that is it from me today. Have a wonderful day, and I will catch you all again next time. Bye for now.